Okay, a little pre-Pluto retrograde insight here, an idea. I don't think we create our own realities, as in separate bubbles of existence with a copy of everything else. I feel we're all in the same reality, but we create a new reality through our relation to what that is. And that can only be done here. The switch is within. I'm not saying I know how to do it. I'm just saying that's what I'm on. I can see things in reality other people can't see because they won't see it. Does it mean it's true? Not necessarily. I could be paranoid, I could be completely wrong. But I see the dots, I connect the dots, and it's always worked for me up to this point. So why deny it now? So there are different layers happening. We got the psyche of humanity in the physical human world existence. Nature, we're nature. We're trying to break from it, be distinct. We feel that we're here to rise. And so we create. Now, at times we oscillate between being a spoiled brat and being a benevolent child. And why would we do that? Well, because this reality is dynamic and it helps us to do that. The ant mound gets kicked over from time to time. Tyrants rise and fall, and so do sages and saviors. There are reasons for those things. What's more, though, is there are things that I can't comprehend that are also possible, which will arise. And that is a divine blessing. So the world is going into some kind of turmoil here. There will be an economic cut from fiat to uh, digital. Of course, it's not, they're going to try and do it overnight, but I don't necessarily think people will be too acquiescent to an overnight shift. Not unless we're like the economy is trashed for so long that people are just scraping by. Not until we're really down in the outs. Then maybe we'll be, hey, we got a new currency, a new method that might actually work for us. And it's digital. I don't have to carry money around. And I get credit every month just for being a citizen, just for being alive. And if I want to really get into it, I can get government housing and they'll just hook me up. I don't have to do anything. I should just be online all day. And I get enough money to order food whenever I want. A lot of people are going to be really hip to that jive. People are now. You should never make decisions when you're down. You don't make the best decision for yourself or others. You would have to live on your knees to keep other people down. And that's what's happening in societies. It's a power thing. Money is a symbol for power. It's not the power itself. Just look at the Romans when they conquered Gaul. It was to have the power over the other. Feral wild spirits, essentially. And why were they feral? Why were they wild? Why were they the other? Because they didn't conform to a specific reality, narration, belief. So, what do you think society has? Do you think it's gotten weaker as this has gone on? No, it's moved from structure to form in mentality and spirit. The egregor is feeding. I'm not like, I don't like doom and gloom and negative stuff, but it's like this world, that's what it is. I can see the sun, I can feel it, I know there's good. I've lived it, I've felt it. In fact, that's the only reason we're here. So the shell game, it gets us all broken down the feudalism of spirit with that ego identification to victimhood. It gives us rewards and prizes and boosts us up and gives us balancing against the evil one, whomever that child may be at any given time in any society. Mob rules, but who rules the mob? And what is ruling the mob? Because it isn't just people, there's a psyche, it's an energy, it's helping us to grow for a good reason. It's given us all the wrong reasons so that we may forge and cultivate and create and bring forward a real one. So that CBDC stuff, that digital currency, that awesome gig. If you are a descendant, if you have civil dissent, if you are saying what offends people or doesn't go along with a progressive narration, then you'll be blocked out of your access to your own credit. Or maybe they'll just take a little bit off your monthly stipend. Oh, you want to try and trade someone? Are you a terrorist? Something? Are you kidnapping people and like trafficking them? Are you a drug dealer or something? That's what they'll say if you're outside the system. And normies will be all over that, won't they? It's much easier. After all, if you've denied the truth of yourself, what's the big deal with denying it in another? So CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Bitcoin is just a Trojan. I mean, all these other coins are just gimmicks. They have value for a limited time. I'm not interested in that game. I don't give a crap about day trading. It's a waste of energy. All these other coins will be going away because they are not green. When they see what it takes to process a Bitcoin transaction, 2 weeks worth of electricity for the average American household, that shit ain't gonna fly. Bitcoin will be ousted or held for some icon's sake, but it won't be traded. It won't be used. The only coins that are worth any damn is XLM and XRP and maybe one other. And those coins, it's the blood of the evil ones. Who wants to like be in the top 5% of a fucked up world like that? So if you are looking to get into crypto, get XRP or XLM. This is not financial advice, but it is practical advisement because that's the only shit that ain't gonna die when we cut over. And it's going to go up astronomically, especially XRP. You'll be your own bank if you so choose. Well, who knows? Who knows what kind of crazy stuff will happen? But you could potentially at this point in time become your own bank. But the rest of the world isn't there, so it's a hypothetical at this point. So society's changing. It is becoming more inclusive, which is good. But it's excluding a lot of common sense and truth. It's given us a utopian dream. But it's worse than Orwell. Because this actually transfers the human spirit from human into technology. The advancement stops here and it moves into 3D reality, material reality. The noise of this. But Uranus and Saturn dies and is reborn. Uranus brings the spirit, brings the water, the realization, the reason. So these layers are happening, society is happening, the economic, socio, one world type stuff. But it won't be one world, that's just a red herring. It's going to be multiple worlds, but it is very much a manifestation of the polis through Plato's Republic. The idea is there, and it's old. It's much older than that book. Then beyond that, spiritual. So, with that said, all right, here is a chart right now. Mars coming into balsamic phase conjunction with Neptune. The moon in Scorpio will be trining Mars. So healing the spiritual wounds. All right, so don't fall into the martyr, victim, tyrant, savior stuff. If you do happen to fall into it, which you probably will in relation to this world, do so through the conviction of healing yourself, realizing we're ignorant of a lot of things. We can only be true to what we believe, and that's always good, even if we're wrong. Because we will learn if we're willing to grow. The world will show us. So you got to be open to the wound. Allow Uranus to grow through your feeling. Right now, Jupiter's helping Uranus to spread the awareness, the psyche, the energy of your deep emotions through the body, through your senses, through your perceptions. How have you seen things? Why might you have seen it that way? What were you ignorant of within yourself so you couldn't see it in the world? What you see in this world that isn't what you would like to see in this world, and how can you change it within yourself? so that you at least do not feed into what that is. How can you allow others to make mistakes, to live their truth without taking something from them? Is it up to you? Should you hold that awareness? Should you hold that as a value? I feel if you're trying to heal yourself through releasing, then you don't really feed that energy into what comes at you in the world, at least so much. Now, that might not be a conscious thing. You might not actually know what it is. So, trying to find what feeds and nourishes your spirit, what helps you to express the wound in a creative way, in a optimal way, because you're growing through it. Maybe balance in the Virgo energy, putting the reason to the effort, making a ritual out of what that could be for you. How can you take this uprising surge of energy, which is coming back after that very draining Scorpio full moon? How can you? I feel the drain of the Scorpio full moon kind of sparked the Mars energy, allowed it to spark up a little bit. Now I feel it's growing. As it hits the 0 point of Aries, we're going to be in full energy, frenetic energy. Either the energy of the world will be channeling you, or you'll be channeling this energy into the world. How can you do that in the most optimal way that's not denying you of your healing, of your growth, of your expansion, of your own dream, bringing your reality into this thing that's happening with all these different things happening? I feel it's a good time for this kind of thinking, feeling. Pluto going retrograde when exactly here? All right, stationing on the first. Wow, May Day. That's awesome. So stationing. So moving like a minute a day or a week or something. Doesn't move anything. Oh, there we go. All right, so yeah, Pluto's going to be stationing retrograde. Um, I have Pluto retrograde in my chart. Trine my moon. Opposing my Mars and my Venus. Sextiling, well, pretty much everyone's Pluto sextiles their Neptune, I believe, at least in the 70s and much of the 80s. Digging into the ancestors, Uranus. Okay, so imagine there's a mythology of existence. Somewhere deep in there, all things are possible, and that's where the potential of what you can bring into existence, that's where it is. Now, how would that show up in this place? It's already got all this space taken up by realization. It's going to come through you in a very peculiar way. With Pluto retrograde, Mars is activated, but Mars is going to also be receptive. We're going to look at Pluto as a higher octave of Mars for a moment. A cycle, a cyclical energy. It is a seasonal shifting, a seasoning, essentially. Pluto is squaring Venus here as it stations retrograde. Realizing, well, maybe there will be some things in the world, possibly, to help us to realize our denials, the actual physical manifest form of something we felt deep within ourselves being known through the other, which is the world and everything you face. Sextiling this Mars, it's like your Mars energy, your passion, intention, will for intention is being tuned into something through your own denials, through what could live, what could be in this world, what your universe could hold. Starts small within you and it grows as you grow into life. All right, that's all I wanted to say, I guess. So, there's a lot more going on, but there's always stuff going on. All right, thanks for watching, listening, and being